Pushback against social media is proceeding fast. And I don't just mean calls to ban TikTok, although we'll be talking about that. Governor Cox of Utah signed a sweeping social media bill at the end of last week that has been passed by the legislature earlier, but now he's given it a stamp of approval. It's the first state law in the nation that will prohibit social media services from allowing users under 18 to have accounts without the explicit consent of their parent or a guardian. And he was sort of like celebrating this on social media, saying we're no longer willing to let social media companies continue to harm the mental health of our youth. Today we signed 2 key bills in our fight against social media companies into law. So that is how this is being presented, as everyone knows that there's been discussion about what negative effects on people's mental health, both kids and adults, being on social media will have. Well, now they're saying we're just jumping immediately to they will be blanket banned unless they're given an exception by their parents. And that's not all it would do, by the way. It will also require social networks to give Utah parents access to their children's posts, messages, and responses. So full access to all formerly private messages they had sent out. It will require social media services to block Utah minors from accessing their accounts from 10:30 at night to 6:30 in the morning. That can again be changed by a parent. And also, it will prohibit social media companies from employing features or design techniques that could cause a minor to form a quote addiction to their online platforms, which is the sort of thing that's baked into literally every platform, every website, everything online. So there's a lot here, Francesca.
Yeah, there is. There's so much to dig into in this story. I think my first thought is, this is what happens when we cannot get any kind of tech company to at all take seriously the harm that it does to our brains and their model of making money off of our data. So that's number one. I can imagine if Facebook really felt like they wanted to take seriously, let's say predators, right, who might target young people, there could be a feature that says, that pops up when it's like, hey, you've received a message from someone you don't know, you're chatting with someone, like basically, are you safe? Do you know this person? Make sure not to meet up with anybody, all that all that stuff. There's ways and controls that app could shut off after a certain amount of time if we want to prevent addiction. All of those things, which are never gonna come from Facebook, they have to come from regulators, from Congress. Regulators mount the F up. But so this is what Utah is doing. The problem is, of course, as we see, is that allowing parents all access to their kids' data is often not a good thing, right? Anyone can have children. Trust me, I have a child, dude. They let anyone have a kid, right? And the idea that your parent is going to somehow be a better source for you, be more understanding. Let's say if you're going through something, right? If you need to talk to somebody, if you're having a problem with your parent and your only outlet and your only out is to speak to somebody that you like, a friend online or whatever it is, that's. Yeah, so it's a complete invasion of that child's privacy. And again, there's just so much emphasis on the idea that every parent is going to be good. No, That's not the case. I don't know, I'm curious about your thoughts.
Yeah, look, I definitely think that there's a lot of stuff that is highly addictive, designed to be highly addictive. I am actively addicted to multiple of these things, and I have been addicted to forms of them throughout my life. So I understand that. When it comes to, God, the sheer number of hours I played of EverQuest back in the day. I understand this. And I do think that there's a role for both government as well as parents. This goes pretty far in giving the access to the private messages and everything. I mean, you've pointed out some great concerns. Others have echoed them, saying it might be all well and good for a random hypothetical child to not have this form of privacy in a hypothetical supportive family that very much does not exist for everyone.
Yes.
You have Sarah Coyne, a child development professor, says, we know that marginalized youth, such as LGBTQ kids, use social media in some really important ways to find belonging and support, especially when they don't have family support. So if you've got a 17-year-old who's really struggling with mental health, turning to social media to find a place to belong, and their parents are cutting it off or looking at their messages, that can have a really significant negative impact. It could literally lead to abuse, to child abuse from the parents to the kids when they realize what they've been up to. And that's a great example, but I'm sure we can come up with others. So I am worried about that as well. I think that something has to be done. I think that we can have an ongoing conversation, but this does seem like a whole lot of things all at once.
Yeah, and also like I'm down if you then in turn give the child control over your parents' cable news, because somebody's got to switch off Fox.
Well, yeah, I mean, like again, I know that we naturally just think, well, adults can do literally anything they want except smoke weed for some reason. But yeah, what, Fox isn't designed to be addictive?
Isn't harming you and your families and your communities?
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, if I can sit down and watch like 6 episodes of Succession in a row, that is clearly incentivizing addictive behavior.
No.
Why can I click to the next one? So again, glass addictions, I guess, something rocks. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think we're gonna be able to play the AOC video, unfortunately. Oh well. We've got a lot more to get to, including, hey, what do you know? We're gonna be talking about guns, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.